The Nashville Shooter Audrey Hale's manifesto has leaked online. It's available on social media. You can see it. And what I believe, based on my analysis, is that the Nashville Shooter was a big fan of Steven Crowder. Now you can see her many rants in this notebook that she kept, that the media wanted to keep from us. But in very big font, it says "louder with Crowder." And that is written above all her other ramblings. And I think I'm breaking news here. Nashville Shooter loved Steven Crowder. Well, this is really embarrassing. I've been informed by my team that that was not actually an indication that Audrey Hale was a Steven Crowder fan. Rather, Steven Crowder is the guy that broke the story, and that was his watermark that he put so other people wouldn't take credit for it. And you know what? You got to give a lot of credit to Steven Crowder. I don't know how he got this leaked manifesto, which the conservative media has been caterwauling about for months. And we have it, and I have to say it's worse than we thought. And for sure, we now understand why the media was trying to suppress this manifesto of the Nashville killer who 7 months ago killed 6 people at the Covenant School, which is a private school, which Audrey Hale previously had attended as a student. And then when she or he went on this shooting spree, she was 28 years old. And in that manifesto, we see like a racist rant against white people, actually. She used the word crackers, which is such a funny, stupid term, and she talked about white privilege. And it's like, okay, now I see why the media didn't want us to see this. I mean, it's really worse than I thought in terms of it implicates, frankly, the left in what happened because this person was instigated by apparently critical race theory because she used the phrase white privilege in her manifesto. And so she was apparently driven by racial hatred for the poor, innocent, kids that she shot who happened to be white. And I mean, I think Audrey Hale is white too, so it's a little bit confusing. So anyway, yep, the DOJ, the Nashville police, the media, everyone tried to hide it, and now we have it. And it is a crazy manifesto. We heard for so long about how there was no political motive, but we also heard some rumblings like the manifesto was too incendiary to be released to the public. But meanwhile, if there's right-wing terrorism, then the media is not shy to assign a political motive, number one, and number two, to just release it, and we have full transparency. Well, we have transparency now, but they didn't want it. So let's dig into some of the details. Here's an article from Hot Air. Headlined, "Want to kill all you little crackers, Nashville trans shooter manifesto leaked, ? And I suppose that question mark is this is all kind of breaking news, and you want to be cautious, especially if you're publishing in the media that you can authenticate the document that you're writing about. Is this really the manifesto? And one of my mutuals on Twitter made a good point. His name is like Russian Bot, that the mayor of Nashville said something to the effect like, well, we really need to find out who leaked this. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess you just inadvertently confirmed that this is the real manifesto. So thank you, mayor, who's trying to cover this up. Has the long-buried, quote, manifesto of the Nashville transgender mass murderer finally leaked? More than 7 months after the massacre of 6 people inside the Covenant School, which resulted in the death of perpetrator Audrey Hale, the evidence has yet to be officially released for public view. They tried to hold this for as long as they could, I guess just forever. I mean, it's been 7 months, and they're pissed that it's out now. So, this is fairly typical. They want the media, when there's something inconvenient, some bit of info, they kind of wait until like nobody cares anymore, and then they release it. But the funny thing is that people still care. And that's the beauty of social media. That's the beauty of Twitter/X, is that we're kind of just making our own news. We kind of, and Steven Crowder, even though I'm not, look, the guy's very successful. He doesn't need my approval, but I'm not like a huge Steve Crowder fan. But I do think it's very cool that he got his hands on this because, again, it's like we're just doing the media ourselves. We kind of just we don't care about the guardrails and the tone policing that the mainstream media is trying to do. We don't care anymore. Continue from Hot Air. Only hints of the contents of Hale's writing have emerged, none with any more specificity than in the days after the shooting. So the Nashville Police Department was being very coy about this manifesto. The FBI is involved, Biden's FBI. The FBI is under the DOJ, which is led by Merrick Garland. And if there's ever a corrupt SOB who's going to do whatever the left wants, it's him. Merrick Garland, again, he's the Attorney General, so meaning that he runs the DOJ. Merrick Garland is a guy who likes to describe, supporters of Trump as extremists, and he likes to lock them up. Well, here's an extremist. I mean, is Audrey Hale an extremist? She killed 6 people. So what was the ideology that motivated her? Well, actually, it was left-wing terrorism motivated by critical race theory. And I don't say that everyone who subscribes to critical race theory is a murderer, obviously. And I think most people who subscribe to that are, number one, either very resentful people who bear like a racial grievance. Number two, it's very guilty and very credulous white people, white women. And then you have, some people that are the ones that kind of create that narrative. Like they're the smart but kind of evil ones. And, this is on them. So here's some quotes from the So here's a tweet from Crowder with some poll quotes from the manifesto. Quote, "Want to kill all you little crackers. I hope you have a high death count. I hope I have a high death count. I'm ready. I hope my victims aren't ready to die. Hashtag Nashville Manifesto." So I almost feel like this is more incendiary than even the conservative commentators were expecting, because the conservative commentators had this drumbeat of, let's release the manifesto. And it's kind of like a very safe thing to say because all you're saying is release info, be transparent. And I'm with them on that. But now that we have the manifesto, like, are conservatives really ready to draw the implications of what just happened, what motivated this mass shooter? Because, it's a direct pipeline from critical race theory to violence against the group whom you're demonizing. And, to be fair, like Chris Rufo laid that out pretty well and pretty directly in a tweet. I mean, it's not really that hard to explain, actually. However, it's not really a talking point that conservatives have discussed until recently, because I think things have just gotten so bad. In terms of reverse racism is what I'll call it in a very simple way. And I think it is a damn shame, and I don't think that we should demonize any group at all. However, that's kind of not where we're at. And, it's like a bad look when you're seen as speaking on these issues. This is not really something that I don't think I really want to be discussing or anybody else. But when, as I say, when it's right-wing terrorism, then we're getting very psychological and we're examining motives and we're talking about politics and we're talking about ideology. So I'm sorry, but I'm afraid we have to do the same in this case, just to be fair. My name is Michael McCara. Thank you so much for watching. Follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle's in the description. Visit my blog, michaelmccarablog.com, very popular book reviews, opinion, and other writings. And finally, and most importantly, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel.